What's good, YouTube? Back at it again with another video. This is the Texans Better Talk Show. Just posted my day 2 of free agency grades for the Houston Texans. That's where I talked about the Kenyon Green trade, CJ Gardner-Johnson, and of course all the other signings. So don't forget to check that out. And if you're new to the channel, would love it and really appreciate it if you subscribed. Keeps us growing and keeps me going. But here we're going to talk about the Texans offensive line. And I think I've solved their plan. I think I've figured out their plan, I should say. We all know what's been happening with this Houston Texans offensive line. The front office, Caserio, D'Amico, Cayley, whoever it is, Popovich, they hated the offensive line. They hated the voices in the room. They did not like the way it looked or operated. All we've been asking for is change, and they've done that in ways we didn't expect. They've traded away Tunsil. They've cut Shaq Mason. They've traded Kenyon Green. Those guys are no longer on the team. Now, I know what you're thinking. They have to have a plan for this, right? Surely they have a plan. They do. And I'm going to tell you what's been reported, and then I'm going to read between the lines and tell you what I think is going to happen with the Houston Texans offensive line moving forward. So let's just get straight into that. The first graphic I'm going to put on the screen is the offensive line that they have right now. Now, this has been the reported offensive line that the Houston Texans want to have. Sorry, my face is kind of in the way. I can try to move that a bit. There we go. Okay, this has been reported. Titus Howard is moving back to left tackle. Jarrett Patterson will play center. Juice Scruggs will play right guard. And Blake Fisher will play right tackle. Now, if you asked me, I probably would have guessed that Fisher was going to be at left tackle and Howard was going to be at left guard, but I completely understand the Texans not wanting a rookie right tackle and not wanting to sign a tackle in free agency. That was my biggest concern. My biggest concern was, yes, I understand the rationale behind getting rid of Tunsil, getting the draft picks, but who's going to play left tackle? The Houston Texans want Titus Howard to play left tackle, and they want Blake Fisher to be right tackle, which also makes sense because if you remember anything from Blake Fisher's scouting report, he was meant to be a true right tackle, never really a left tackle. Ask the scouting people, not me. He was considered widely to be a right tackle. That's fine. Now, the other point of this line that this report implies is that they are set with Patterson playing center and Scruggs playing right guard. How do I know this? Well, Nick Caserio said that Scruggs is a better center than he is guard. However, he has to play guard because Patterson can't play guard, if that makes sense. Patterson's only a center. So if they choose to roll out this line, Scruggs will play right guard. That's where he played last year when Shaq Mason got hurt. And Patterson will continue playing center. And by the way, I can't tell a noticeable difference between Scruggs and Patterson playing center. I know Patterson was drafted like 4 rounds after Scruggs. It might just point to Nick's bad drafting again with Scruggs. And I know Scruggs hasn't been healthy a majority of his tenure here with the Texans. That's fine, but whatever. It's a moot point at this point. So now the big question is, who is the left guard? And I will tell you that they just signed a guy named Laken Tomlinson, something like that. Laken Tomlinson. I always forget this dude's name. Laken Tomlinson. So Laken Tomlinson, I will tell you, is going to compete for the left guard position. He is by no means the set left guard, which leaves a big hole at that left guard spot, right? No one really else to fill it. You've got a lot of depth guys on the roster. I doubt they're going to be starting at left guard. We've seen their free agency moves, right? They've signed a free agent guard. So now what's left? Well, what's left is the draft. That's what the reading in between the lines is. And this basically tells me that they are going to draft a left guard in the first round. I think they have to because I don't know how comfortable you feel starting a left guard, that you've drafted in the 3rd round because you need a receiver. So receivers got to go in the 2nd probably. So I think you need to draft a left guard in the 1st round. Now, I'm going to show you a graphic. It's a little crazy. It's a little out there. I promise it makes sense. Just give me time to explain it. So let's scroll down to this graphic. Again, I swear it makes sense. And let me just go through it. So here is a draft board I've put together for the Texans who were picking at 25th. Only offensive linemen, obviously, because we can pretty much whittle down their first pick to an offensive lineman. Would it surprise me if they picked a receiver with their first pick? A little bit, but I wouldn't be like out of the question. And they're not picking a safety anymore. So I know a couple of videos ago I said safety. That was before CJ Gardner-Johnson, okay? So here's a list of potential linemen that they could draft at 25. Now, this is just my kind of board, my general thoughts, but green means they could stay right where they are and have a chance at drafting them. Yellow means you probably have to move up a little bit. And red means you have to, sell your soul basically to get these guys, like pretty much ungettable. That's what 25 means. 25 means that he falls to 25. 15 means they're probably going from 15 to 24. And 10 means they're probably going like in the first 10 or 10 to 15. Okay. So that being said, we can pretty much eliminate Armand Membo and Will Campbell up here. Will Campbell I have off the mountain because he's not really, I don't think he really fits what they're looking for. He'd be a great addition, and I just don't think you can draft him. Membo, I think, fits exactly what they're looking for, but I just don't think you can draft him without giving up something, extraordinary. So that leaves us down to the second column, right? The second tier. And these are guys you're going to have to trade up for. I can say with some degree of certainty, right? I don't think Kelvin Banks Jr. will get to 25. And even if he's around there, you probably move up anyway just to secure him, right? You probably don't take the gamble. Same thing with Tyler Booker, who's in the middle, and same thing with Josh Simmons, who's on the right. Gray Zabel, of those four on the green row, he's probably least likely to be at 25. And then the other three guys I have here, Josh Connerly Jr., Donovan Jackson, and Aramonte Ursure. I don't know if I'm saying that right. These guys are probably reaches at 25. Like, you probably don't want to take these guys at 25. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is it from Kelvin Banks to Josh Simmons to Gray Zabel, that's kind of where you want to be picking with this 25 spot. This can change. It depends on, maybe they make trades, maybe they attack free agency, but I feel like they're going to draft a guard with the first overall pick because you're missing a starter on the line, right? So now let's talk about who I kind of want them to go for. Out of everyone here on this list, let me tell you what I think is most likely going to happen. I think the Houston Texans move up and draft Kelvin Banks Jr. I think they use probably the third they got from the Tunsil trade, or maybe even they move around the second or a future second that they just picked up. I think they move up and they draft Kelvin Banks Jr. from UT. Okay, so let me try something. I swear I didn't do this. I didn't practice this earlier, but let's just do this. Let's just put Kelvin Banks here. Okay. Now, why do you ask me? Why would you put Kelvin Banks Jr. here? And let me tell you, I know for a fact the Houston Texans are not. They are not 100% set on Titus Howard playing left tackle. He hasn't played it much. When he has, he's looked fine. He hasn't played it much. He's getting paid tackle money. He says he's a tackle, and that's why they're putting him there. But I don't think the Texans are dead set on him being the left tackle. So what happens when we get, a couple weeks into the season, a couple games into the season, and we're looking around and Titus Howard does not look good? Well, when they draft Kelvin Banks Jr., what they can do is they can, sorry, I'm messing this up, but I think you're going to go get where I'm going with this. They just swap him, and you put Titus right back where he was at left guard, and you put Kelvin Banks Jr. at left tackle. And there you've got your tackle, your left tackle, okay? Now, that is in my opinion, is what they're going to do. I think it would be dumb for them to just sit at 25 and go all in on a guard who can't play tackle. I think if you're going to draft a lineman at 25, I think he has to be able to play a little bit both. And you could repeat this conversation with Gray Zabel as well. You could repeat the conversation with Josh Simmons out of Ohio State, Gray Zabel and Josh Simmons. He's got a patella injury, so I don't like him as much. But let's say Gray Zabel, and that's fine. So maybe they don't move up as far, or maybe Kelvin Banks goes immediately and you have to get Gray Zabel. That's fine. The point I'm trying to make is I think they right now say that they're going to have Titus Howard at left tackle. I think they are planning to do that, but I think they are very prepared for whoever they draft in the first round to play left tackle. Okay, I think that's what they're thinking. And you can feel free to disagree with me and tell me what you think in the comments. I just don't know if Titus Howard is the permanent left tackle. I also think the other reason why you draft a tackle, and these names are going to get out of whack, but let's say Titus Howard can't get it done and you don't want a rookie playing left tackle. That's perfectly reasonable too, right? CJ Stroud's gonna, fearing for his life with a rookie out there going against, Jonathan Grenard and name whatever defensive end you want to, Max Crosby, right? Then why? Then that's when I think you take Blake Fisher and you just switch him with whoever you draft. Okay, then you switch it. So this to me, when I'm going through these options, this gives the Texans the most options in my opinion. Drafting a tackle who in a pinch can play guard, that's good. And they have the assets to move up. And I think they like Kelvin Banks Jr. I think they like Gray Zabel. I think they like a lot of different tackles in this draft. That to me is what they do. Now you can look at the situation right now and you can think something completely different. That's perfectly fine. But that's what I think they do. And so with that, I think I'll end the video, man. That's kind of what I'm reading between the lines with the tackle construction and the offensive line construction. They have the assets to move up at 25. I think they will to address that offensive line. I think they have to. I don't think you can wait until the second. And also, I think it goes offensive line pick, receiver, offensive line pick. Like, I think they go deep on the offensive line, and then I think maybe they pick up a running back. Like, that's what I think happens. But feel free to disagree with me, man. That's all I got for this video. But if you enjoyed it, again, just really appreciate if you could like and subscribe and stay tuned for future videos. That's all I got. I will see y'all in the next one, man. Peace out.